The article I chose to write my position paper on was The Standing Rock Protesters Hold Out Against Extraordinary Police Violence by Sam Levin. I chose this article because I was interested in learning more about how the indigenous water protectors were treated and, the law enforcement side during this whole entire Standing Rock protests. Before researching this topic, I knew very little about the Dakota Access Pipeline, and I didn't fully understand why so many people were against it. And after researching and reading more about it, I learned that the water protectors were there because they were concerned that the pipeline was going to affect their water supply, their sacred land. It also violated their treaty rights. I also learned that many of them preferred to be called water protectors instead of protesters because the whole reasoning behind their protesting was to protect their community, their culture, their land, and their water supply, for future generations. One thing that really surprised me and it shocked me when I was reading was how much force law enforcement used during the protests. I didn't know that police force used water cannons on their protesters while it was below freezing temperatures. I felt like reading about the sheriff saying they were paid protesters, they were agitators, while using and improving dangerous police tactical forces on these protesters. That was a contradiction itself. I felt like the use of tear gas, pepper spray, beanbag rounds, tasers, it was unnecessary, especially since the crowd was demonstrating, peaceful protests, prayers, ceremonies, that was an injustice itself. Like reading that one lady almost lost her arm and another almost lost her eye and she almost went blind. Reading that hundreds got injured and some were actually hospitalized. I feel like that really made it a reality that the injustices and the violence and I feel like the indigenous community through history always has to do so much just to protect their culture, their land, They have treaties that get violated all the time, so I felt like I knew there was conflict before, but I didn't know the extent of it until now. So yeah, that's why I wrote it. And I felt like I had a strong belief in it and, seeing that the indigenous community was overlooked, compared to the Bismarck city that would have been involved if the pipeline was built there. And Bismarck is mostly a white community, so I feel like that was itself, it shocked me, but it's not really a shock. I just felt like it was more of a disappointment to read another topic that was like this, so that's why I chose my topic on this article.